What if Deku married the Ruby team? Make sure to check out more videos like this. You know what, like the video. If this video gets 50 like, the next part will be out as soon as I can. Let's start it. Quirks. Since the discovery of their existence, they have spread across the globe. Ever since a newborn has developed the first quirk, this new discovery began to spread all over the world. The dawn of this extraordinary era was marred by a breakdown of society caused by the sudden onslaught of criminals empowered by their newfound superpowers. In order to keep society from falling apart, the police force moved to prioritize leadership and to maintain the status quo, and as such decided not to use quirks as weapons. To fill that void, the profession of crime-fighting quirk users heroes began to exist. Thanks to the heroes, the crime rate has dropped exponentially. From that day forward, the goal of becoming the next heroes has been made, and that tradition continues to this day. Aldra Junior High. Students starts walking into the school one by one after some of them are late thanks to the police blocking the streets after a villain attack at Tatooine Station. As they continue to walk inside, one girl stops in the middle of the hallway as she decides to read the news on her phone about the attack. Wow, Death Arms empty. Lady, Kamui Woods and Backdraft are so cool. The girl squeals in excitement while slightly jumping up in the air, getting a few weird looks from a couple of other students. Hey sis, hurry up, we're gonna be late. Another girl calls out, catching the excited girl's attention. Coming, the girl replies as she puts her phone away before running to classroom. So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your future and what you all want to do with your lives. The teacher with blonde hair and blue eyes said. This teacher was wearing brown cargo shorts with a dark brown belt, black shoes, a red bandana on his left arm, a brown leather vest over a tan dress shirt with the right sleeve cut off. This is Taiyan Xiaolong. He used to be a pro hero until he retires and became a homeroom teacher. I could pass out some career aptitude test, but why bother? The teacher then grabs the pile of papers, and as the student starts to get concerned, until they saw him throwing the papers up in the air with a huge smile on his face. I know that you all are aiming for the hero track. The entire classroom cheers in joy as they all start to activate and show off their different quirks. One girl starts to engulf her hands in flames. A male student changes the skin of his arm to stone, another student stretching their fingers up in the air, and so forth. Yes, you all have some amazing quirks, but no power usage in class. Taiyang raises his voice up in order to calm the students down. Hey teach, don't lob me with these bunch of losers. A male student calls out, causing the entire classroom to go silent as they turn over to a guy with spiky blonde hair and red eyes. This is Katsuki Bakugo. He is the top student in the classroom and one of the top 10 in the school. Hei may be the best in academics and combat training, but he's mainly known for his cocky attitude and rude behavior. I'm the real deal, but these losers are lucky to end up being sidekicks to some busted D-lister. You think that you're better than us, Katsuki. The entire classroom began to shout at Bakugo in anger. Yeah, I bet that you can't even beat Mr. Xiaolong's daughter, another student shouted. While Taiyang's daughter is not in his classroom, she's still the most popular female in the school. Let's go, I can take you all on, Bakugo laughed. Yeah, you got impressive test results, Bakugo. Maybe you'll end up going to UA High. Taiyang stated, shocking the entire class. He's gonna try for the nationals, a female student gasped. That school has 0.2% acceptance rate, a male student stated. It's impossible to get into that school. That's why it's the only place worthy of me. Bakugo then leaps out of his chair and stands up proudly on his desk. I've passed all of the mock tests. I'm the only one in this school who stands a chance of getting in. I'll end up being more popular than All Might himself and be the richest hero of all time. Everyone in the world will know who I am, and it all starts with Yua High. You got a fiery spirit, Bakugo, but you're not the only one who's going to Yua. In fact, there are 3 students that want to go to Yua too. Taeyang stated, causing Bakugo to freeze in place and to look at his teacher. My daughter and niece passed the academic pre-tests as well. No way Yang Xiaolong and Ruby Rose are going to Yua too. A male student gasped as the entire class starts to whisper with one another. It makes sense for Yang since she's the most popular girl in our school, a female student said. Yeah, she got beauty, brains, and brawn. A couple of male students became dazed at the thought of Yang. My daughter has no intentions of being in a relationship, and you boys will behave yourselves. Taeyang said in anger like the protective dad that he is, scaring the male students as they saw their homeroom teacher radiating with red aura. Ruby got a pretty good quirk, so she'll definitely make it. Another student said, Mr. Xiao Long. A student raised his hand, catching Taeyang's attention. You said that 3 are planning to go to Yua with Bakugo, but who's the 3rd one? Oh yeah, it's Midoriya. He's planning to go to Yua too. Taeyang answered, causing the entire room to go silent and shocking Bakugo even more. The entire classroom peered towards a male student with messy green hair with black highlights, green eyes, and freckles on his cheek. This is Izuku Midoriya. He is the only student in his class who doesn't have a quirk. The entire classroom remains silent until they start bursting with laughter. Midoriya, you gotta be kidding me, a male student laughed. There's no way you're gonna get into the hero course without a quirk. Another male student laughed. Actually, they got rid of that rule. Izuku stated nervously while standing from his seat. I can be the first one. Boom. Izuku got sent flying back and ends up in the back of the classroom on the floor after Bakugo slams his hand onto the quirkless boy's desk with a small explosion. Listen up, Deku, Bakugo growled. You're the worst of these rejects, you quirkless loser. You really think that they let someone like you in when they can have me? No, wait, you got it all wrong, Kaken, Izuku answered out of fear while backing up against the wall. I'm not trying to compete against you, you gotta believe me. Izuku then looks down while trembling a bit. It's just that I always wanted to be a hero when I was a kid. I may not have a quirk, but I can still try my hardest, can I? You'll never hang with the best of the best. You'll die in the exam, Bakugo growled as the entire classroom are looking down on Izuku. Defenseless Izuku, this school is already crappy. Do you want to embarrass it more by failing so hard? Alright, that's enough you guys, Taeyang demanded while raising his voice, causing the entire class to sit back down while Izuku gets back up. Bakugo, I would like for you to stay after school. All that Bakugo did in response is letting out a scoff while slightly glaring at Izuku without even turning around while the green-haired kid nervously sits back down in his seat. Mostafu at 12 p.m. A scream can be heard down the streets as a bunch of criminals are running out of the store as a man is leading them. This man has with green eyes and long orange hair with long bangs covering his right eye while wearing a red-lined white suit with long black pants, black shoes, small gray scarf, black gloves with buckled sleeves, and a black bowler hat with a small feather tucked into its red band. This was Roman Torchwick. He may be a D-rank villain, but he's a very notorious criminal for committing multiple robberies. Hey, get back here, the shopkeeper yelled as the robbers ignored him. Hey, that's Roman Torchwick, a woman said. Somebody stop him, the shopkeeper said. Cry all you want, but this catch is ours. Roman laughed as he and the robbers left the crime scene. Where are the heroes? A male citizen asked. Weird. Normally one would swoop in right away. Another male citizen said, maybe they're still recovering from this morning. A businessman stated, there's no stopping them now. A woman said, yes, there is. The entire crowd turns and gets excited as a giant muscular man walks forward. This man was wearing a white t-shirt and green cargo pants. He also has blonde hair that sticks up, looking like rabbit ears. Do you want to know why? Roman looks behind and groans in annoyance. Because I am here. Aldra Junior High, 3:30 p.m. School had been just released as Izuku is currently packing up and was about to put his notebook away, only for it to be snatched away by none other than Katsuki Bakugo. I don't know what you think you're doing, Deku, but we're not done, Bakugo said as he shook his notebook in his hand. Izuku became nervous as two of Bakugo's followers walked towards him. Hey, what you got there, Katsuki? His diary, one follower asked as the bully held the notebook up, showing them the title which reads Hero Analysis for the Future, Note 18. Don't tell me that you're writing notes on how to be a hero. It's so pathetic, another follower laughed while holding his stomach. He's so delusional. Are real funny guys. Izuku laughed nervously. Why, you can give it back now, Kaken. All that Bakugo did in response was creating a small explosion on both sides of the notebook, covering it with singe. Izuku yells in shock and whimpers as his notes has been damaged. That's so mean. He then lets out a panicked yelp as Bakugo tosses it out of the window. Most heroes show their potential at a young age. People look at them and know that they're destined for greatness. Bakugo stated, not even caring about Izuku's feelings. When I'm the only student in this lame class who's going to UA High, they'll be talking to me like that. They know that I'm the real thing. That's not ego talking, it's how good I am. Bakugo finishes this by placing a hand on Izuku's shoulder while slightly activating his quirk, creating small smokes on his shoulder. Here's some piece of advice from me, you damn nerd. Don't even think about going to UA or else. Bakugo and his followers starts to walk out of the classroom, leaving Izuku behind as the boy trembles in fear and sorrow like he has grabbed his hope and dreams and shatters them into a million pieces. But before the bullies leave the classroom, you know, if you want to be a hero that badly, there's actually a better way. Bakugo spoke up as he stopped. Just pray that you'll be born with a quirk in your next life, and take a swan dive off the roof of the building. Izuku trembles again and growls while looking back at the bully with a weak, angry face, only for Bakugo to create small explosions in his hands while glaring at the weak student. Is there a problem? He growled before leaving the classroom. He then starts making his way to another classroom before entering inside and sees his homeroom teacher waiting for him. Please have a seat, Bakugo, Taeyang said as Bakugo lets out an annoyed growl before sitting down. You know that attitude of yours isn't gonna help you become a hero. What do you mean? Bakugo asked in anger. Was it because of how I treated Deku? You know that damn nerd doesn't have a quirk, and he can't even do crap during the fitness test. First off, watch that mouth of yours, Taeyang demanded with seriousness. While he is laid back and a great guy, he knows when to get serious, and some students can be scared of him when he gets mad. Whatever, Bakugo scoffed. And this brings me to what I'm about to say next. Taeyang lets out a huge sigh. Yes, your academic grades are fantastic, and yes, your quirk is pretty cool. That's why I got what it takes to be the real deal. Bakugo smirked, causing Taeyang to pinch the bridge of his nose and shake his head in annoyance and disappointment. But there is something that'll prevent you from becoming the real deal. Your ego, your attitude, and behavior. Taeyang stated as this both confuses and annoys the explosion quirk user. You think that you're the best and you display that being so hot-headed, cocky, and downright villainous towards others. What? Bakugo looks at his teacher in anger, obviously offended that he's being called a villain. Taeyang sees this as he lets out a small sigh as walks next to him. I am serious, Bakugo. It takes more than just power and intelligence to be a hero. You also gotta have the heart and kindness to save others. What'll happen if you're rescuing a person? What you will say? Obviously not what you said to Midoriya. That's gonna put them in an uncomfortable position and won't give you the praise that you want. All that Bakugo did in response was letting out a scoff as Tai continues to lecture him about the differences between heroes and villains and how they act while pointing out how to improve. He's gonna be in detention longer than he originally thought. Outside, Izuku kept walking with anger as he's slightly looking down as he's now in the courtyard of the school. Kaken, you idiot. You can't be go around telling people to kill themselves. What if I got myself killed? Izuku thought to himself as he continues walking. He then froze and looks up as he sees a girl with short black hair with red faded tints at the end. The one thing about this girl that he recognized are her big silver eyes, which he actually finds beautiful. Hey, is that... Wait, she got my notebook. Wow, all of these notes about superheroes are so cool. The silver-eyed girl continues to scan through each page of the notebook as her eyes sparkled with excitement. She then stops scanning through the notebook and turns around to see Izuku, who is still standing there. Oh, ooh, hello. All that Izuku did in response when the silver-eyed girl greeted was getting all flustered and started speaking gibberish, as he never really talked to a girl before, obviously because of how isolated he became due to him getting bullied all the time by his classmates. Holy crap, a girl is talking to me. What do I do? What do I do? He thought to himself as the silver-eyed girl approaches him. Is this yours? The girl asked as she's holding the notebook out to him, which Izuku noticed that is soaked. Sorry if it's a little wet. When I was leaving the school, I saw it in the pond, and I think that the koi fish thought that it was edible. She finishes her sentence with a nervous laugh. Great. My dreams have been turned into fish food, he thought to himself before looking at the girl as he starts to tremble. Why, yeah, that's mine's. See, can you give it back, please? Oh, sure. The girl answers as she hands the notebook back to its original owner. Izuku looked at it to make sure that the pages and writing isn't ruined before letting out a sigh of relief. Thank you for finding it. Izuku replied nervously. You're welcome, the girl said before scratching her cheek. Ooh. What's your name? Oh. Izuku felt like he's about to explode since a girl is asking for his name. Izuku, Midoriya. Oh yeah, I've heard of your name before, the girl stated. You have? Izuku asked. Yeah, I remember. Uncle Tai told me and Yang about you. You're like his favorite student. The girl answered, causing Izuku to realize who he's talking to. Wait, so you're Mr. Zio Long's niece? Izuku asked. That's right, my name is Ruby Rose, Ruby giggled. It's nice to meet you, Ruby. Izuku greeted as he starts taking a few deep breaths so he won't pass out. Is it true about your uncle saying that I'm his favorite student? Of course, silly, Ruby said as the two of them starts walking out of the courtyard. Uncle Tai told me and Yang that you're planning to go to UA without having a quirk. Oh. Izuku then looks down and remembers what happened earlier in class today. Yeah, it's true. Flashback. A young Izuku Midoriya rushes to his mother, Inko Midoriya, while holding an All Might action figure and jumps up and down, asking his mom to turn on the computer. The mother then takes her energetic son to the computer room and turns it on as a video of a disaster scene plays. In the video, "It was my dream to become a hero, just like All Might himself." The video continues to play as a giant muscular man wearing a red, blue, yellow, and white suit emerges from a pile of rubble, carrying multiple injured people. "Fear not, citizens. Help has arrived, because I am here." Those were the words that All Might said, which excites the young fanboy as he held his figure up in the air. "He's the coolest in the universe. Once I get my quirk, I'm gonna be a hero just like him." Young Izuku starts laughing just like All Might, while his mother looked back at the boy with a warm smile on her face. "It was all I ever wanted to be, and when me and my mom went to go see the doctor." The scene cuts to Izuku and Inko talking to the doctor as the latter looks at the little boy. "Sorry, kid, it's not gonna happen." Those were the words that left Izuku into complete utter shock as he dropped his figure on the floor. Those were the words that made me feel like someone destroyed my dreams right in front of me. I thought that I was gonna have Dad's fire-breathing quirk or my mom's quirk to move small objects, but it turns out that my joints ended up being normal joints, confirming the results. The scene later changes to nighttime back at Izuku's home as his mom is looking at her son, who is watching the same video. "See that, Mom? He's always smiling, no matter how bad things get. He always knows how to make the impossible possible." Izuku then turns around to face his mother as both of their eyes get watery. "Do you think that I can be a hero too?" That is the question that finally breaks his mom into tears as she walks up to him and hugs him while the two of them tries to stop crying. "I'm sorry, Izuku. I wish that things were different." Flashback ends. That was not what I wanted to hear. My world was crumbling. Izuku then looks up so he's facing Ruby. "So I made my decision that day. No matter what anyone else thinks, I'm gonna do my hardest." He then sees Ruby just giving him a blank expression look on her face, causing him to sigh. "If you don't think I got what it takes, then I understand." "Actually, I think that you got what it takes to be a hero," Ruby admits with a smile. "Wait, you think so?" Izuku asked as he felt like his entire world was flipped upside down. "Yeah, you continue to work hard despite what others say about you," Ruby said as the two starts to walk into a tunnel. "All you gotta do is put a smile on your face." "Why you mean like this?" Izuku took a deep breath before mimicking All Might's signature laugh while putting a smile on his face. "Why, yeah, something like that." Ruby places her hands over her mouth as she tries to not laugh at Izuku's dorky side. "Wow, you can be so cute, Izuku." Izuku felt like he's standing close to lava as his entire face turns red after hearing what she said to him. Did she just call me cute?" "Hey, are you okay?" Ruby asked, having no idea what's going on. "Huh? Oh yeah, I'm fine. I'm just a little hot," Izuku responded while looking away. "Really?" Ruby blinks a few times before smiling. "Don't worry, it'll get cooler eventually. You know, we should hang out sometimes. What do you say?" "Ah, really?" Izuku asked as the niece of the Silver Eye Girl actually wants to hang out someone like him. "Yeah, Uncle Tai told me that you're a nice guy and you love superheroes. I think that we can be good friends," Ruby answered. Why, yeah. That sounds like a good idea," Izuku answered before smiling. "That sounds good," Ruby cheered, but then stops as she starts to sweat. "Ooh, Izuku, is it getting hot in here?" "Really?" Izuku then stops for a moment and sniffs a few times. Is something burning? Ruby and Izuku then sees that the entire tunnel has been set on fire with smoke rising, and even though the two of them quickly cover their mouths and noses so they won't inhale it, they still ended up coughing due to how strong the smoke and flames are. What's going on? Ruby muffled, trying her best to not inhale the smoke. You know you two shouldn't go running around without your parents' kitties. The two hostages heard a chuckle as they see Roman Torchwick walking towards them. Don't worry, we're just taking you somewhere away from these horrible flames. It'll be easier if you kids don't fight back or call for help. Ruby, we gotta get out here fast. All of Izuku's words were all muffled, but the two understands each other as they tried to break free, only to get more weaker and weaker from the flames and the suffocation. You know, we're so glad that we found you kiddies. You'll be our best escape. Roman laughed as he lights up his cigar. Thanks. You two are real heroes to us. Boss, we better hurry before he track us down. A goon suggested. No way. This can't be the end, Izuku thought as he looks at his notebook on the ground. Someone, please, Ruby thought to herself as both her and Izuku's eyes get watery. Help. The two of them closes their eyes and write when they think it's the end for them. Whoosh. A huge wind pressure then appears as it knocked the flames away along with a couple of goons. Roman looks shocked before getting hit by the lid of a street sewer. What gives? Roman growled before turning around to see the giant man. Oh, not you again. Have no fear, you two are safe, the giant man said to Izuku and Ruby while smiling. Because I am here. If you want to fight, then have a taste of this. Roman takes off his glove, and then places a hand the side of wall as All Might slowly approaches them, causing fire to appear as starts to spread across the tunnel, while the flames grow bigger and more intense. Roman Torchwick. Quirk. Singed fingers. He can decide to burn anyone or anything with a touch of his fingers, and if he uses his entire hand, he can even set his targets on fire. He can't burn himself or set himself on fire, though. All Might then runs towards the flames before making a complete stop and arching back. Texas Smash. All Might then throws a punch forward, causing a huge wind pressure to make the flames disappear as it causes Roman and his goons to get sent flying into a wall after releasing Izuku and Ruby, who are now unconscious. Later. Hey, wake up. The giant man lightly pats Izuku and Ruby's face repeatedly before the two kids fluttered their eyes open to look at their savior. Ah, thought that we lost you two here. Izuku and Ruby are in complete and utter shock and excitement as they both let out a scream before getting up and scooting back, but the two of them still remained sitting down on the ground. Both of them started muttering as the person that saved him was actually their favorite hero. Well, looks like you two are moving around all right. Sorry about that back there. I didn't mean for you two to get caught up in my justicing. Usually I am more focused of keeping bystanders safe, but it turns out that the city sewer system is pretty difficult to navigate. The hero does his signature laugh, causing Izuku to stutter more while Ruby squeals like the fangirl she is. Anyway, thanks for both of your help. He then moves to the side and points at Roman and his goons, who are now all tied up and on the floor. I've captured the evildoers. The entire background changes to a red, blue, and white background with stripes and stars all over, representing America. Izuku. I is that. Ruby can't even finish her sentence as her eyes become sparkly. It's the most amazing hero in the entire world. All Might, the real thing, standing right in front of us. Izuku answered as he and Ruby felt like they're going to explode from all of the excitement building up inside of them. He looks so much cooler in person. Izuku and Ruby squealed in excitement as All Might's teeth shines as a little twinkle appears from his signature smile. Holy crap, we gotta get an autograph. Izuku starts searching in his backpack for a pen as Ruby did the same with her bag. Izuku, look. Ruby points at his notebook, which it's right in front of them as Ruby sees her book on the floor as well. Please sign our notebooks, Izuku said as he and Ruby picks up their books and opens it to see the words All Might, signed on 2 pages. Whoa, he already did. Ruby jumps up and down while cheering. I can't wait to show young Uncle Tai, my friends, and my dad. This is the best moment of my life. Thank you so much. This'll be an heirloom, a family treasure passed down from generations to come, Izuku said as he bows down with each word that comes out of his mouth. All Might responds to the 2 optimistic kids by giving them a thumbs up. Well, I better be going, All Might said as he takes a few steps away from Izuku and Ruby before facing Roman and his goons. The police will be here shortly, and they'll take care of you. You wish that you haven't made an enemy out of me, All Might. Roman growled as All Might ignored his threats as he facing towards the 2 kids. Stay out of trouble, you two. I'll see you around. All Might starts doing a couple of stretches as Izuku is left in shock. Wait, he can't go, Izuku thought to himself. I have so much to ask him. Now stand back, I'm taking off. Thanks for both of your supports. All Might then squats down before leaping up and flying high up into the sky. Huh? He then suddenly felt like 2 weights was added to his feet and turns around to see Izuku and Ruby clinging onto his legs with their mouths open due to the wind pressure. Why are we doing this, and why did I come with you? Ruby shouted over the wind, obviously in fear and regret due to how high they are up in the air. Hey, what do you think you 2 are doing? All Might asked in shock as he trying to push Izuku and Ruby off of his legs. Let go, I love my fans, but this is too much. No way, we're flying. If me and Ruby let go, we'll die, Izuku shouted, causing All Might to stop after hearing him. Ah, good point. There's so much we want to ask you personally, Izuku shouted. You're my all-time favorite hero. And you're my favorite hero along with my father, Ruby added, causing All Might to sigh. Very well, just keep both your eyes and mouths shut, All Might said as the 2 complied to his order. He then looks forward and lets out a small cough as a small drop of blood exits out of his mouth. Shit, not now. All Might soon lands on top of a building as Izuku and Ruby finally gets off of All Might's legs. Both of them looks like their souls have been sucked out of their bodies. My whole life just flashed before my eyes, Izuku spoke weakly. I feel like I've gotten off an intense roller coaster, Ruby wheezed. That wasn't a very smart move, All Might stated as he starts to walk to the end of the roof so he can take off. Bang on the back door for a while, someone will let you 2 in. Now I have to go. See you 2 on the flip side. Wait, Izuku calls out. See, can we at least ask one question? I got no time, All Might answered, and before he's about to take off, we want to know if we can be heroes. I want to be a hero like you and my parents, while Izuku wants to be a hero without a quirk, Ruby shouted, causing All Might to stop as those words catches his attention. Is that so? He asked. Yes, Ruby answered. Are you 2 familiar with the hero names White Rose and Blackwing? Yes, I have heard of them, All Might answered. They used to team up with Raven and Sunny Fist to become the Starks. So you want to be like them? Why, yeah, Ruby admitted with a nervous giggle. Well, you got what it takes, young lady, All Might said while giving her a thumbs up. You'll be a great hero just like your parents. Oh my gosh, thank you, All Might. Thank you. Ruby cheered as Izuku smiles a bit. Anytime, All Might then turns towards Izuku. You said that you wanted to be a hero despite not having a quirk, right? He then starts to feel pain as steam rises from his body. Damn it. I must have used too much when I was flying. I can't let them see me like this. Why, yes, Izuku admitted as he fiddles with his fingers. Most people think that I don't have a chance of becoming a hero, but I want to prove them wrong. Ever since I was a kid, I always thought that saving people was the coolest thing you can do. I want people to see my fearless smile when I save them, and be the hero that everyone looks up to, just like you. Izuku and Ruby notices the cloud of steam covering All Might, and as soon as they're about to go see if he's okay, the steam disappears, causing All Might's true form to be revealed. His entire body has shrunk a bit and has a skeleton-like body. His hairstyle changes to a spiky, disheveled hairstyle with two bangs framing the sides of his face, and his clothes became baggy for him. A skeleton? Ruby screams before fainting. Ruby, Izuku rushes over to the girl and quickly catches her. Are you okay? Ugh, what happened? Ruby groans as she fluttered her eyes to the skinny man. Hey, what did you do to All Might? Are you an impostor? I assure you that I am All Might. He was interrupted when blood started leaking out of his mouth, scaring Ruby and Izuku more. Oh my gosh, you're bleeding, Izuku screamed. I'll be fine. All Might reassured as he starts to wipe the blood away. You know how those guys are always trying to suck in their guts and flexing so they can look buffed. I'm like that. That's impossible, Izuku screamed. Yeah, All Might is a giant man who's always smiling whenever he defeats bad guys and saves people, Ruby stated, causing All Might to sigh. There's always a lot of fear behind that smile, he admitted while sitting down. I'm counting you two to keep your mouths shut. He then lifts up his shirt a bit, revealing a bruised scar on the right side of his abdomen. He then sees their reactions, which they are horrified from seeing the scar. Pretty gross, right? I got it during a battle 5 years ago. My respiratory system was basically destroyed. My entire stomach is gone. I've went through multiple surgeries, but they didn't work. Right now, I can only do hero work for about 3 hours a day. Rest of the time, this is what I look like. No way. 5 years ago, Izuku gasped. That was during your fight with Toxic Chainsaw. Ruby recalls as she remembers seeing the fight with Yang when they were kids. Wow, you guys know your stuff. But no, that punk may have landed a few hits, but he couldn't bring me down. Most of the world never heard of this fight. I did my best to keep it hidden from the public. I'm supposed to be the guy who's smiling all the time. I'm the symbol of peace. People across the globe have to think that I'm never afraid. But honestly, I smile to hide the fear that's inside of me. A brave face that puts people at ease. This job is extremely dangerous. All Might then looks at Izuku with a serious look on his face. Pro heroes are constantly putting their lives at risk for others every day, and there are villains that can't be beaten without a quirk. So no, I don't think you can be a hero, young man. Those words at what shattered Izuku's heart and dreams even more as All Might, the hero that he admired ever since he was a little boy, told him the exact same thing that everyone else at school said. The boy looks down before saying, I see. Izuku, Ruby was about to put a hand on his back to comfort him, only to stop after seeing All Might getting up and walking to the door. If you still want to help people, then there are other ways you can do it. You can become a policeman. They get a lot of crap because a lot of heroes captured villains, but it's still a good occupation. It's fine to have a dream, young man, but you have to make sure that your dreams are obtainable. He finishes his sentence by leaving Izuku and Ruby alone, as the green-haired boy looks down in sorrow, causing Ruby to frown. TCH. Stupid symbol of peace getting in our way. Roman grumbled as he puts his gloves back on and throwing away a burnt rope that was restraining him and his goonies. Hey, you should be thankful that those kids went with All Might like a bunch of idiotic fans. One goon brought up as when All Might, Izuku, and Ruby left, one of the goons struggled to take of their boss glove so he can use his quirk. Yeah, but they ruin our perfect chance. Roman sighs in annoyance. But we're not giving up yet. We just need to find another way to make our big hit, gentlemen. He then froze for a second to see three kids walking down the alleyway, causing him to grin. There we go. Bakugo is currently in an alleyway, drinking a can of soda with his followers as he's finally free from detention, but still has an angry look on his face from going through stuff that he considers useless. Glad that you're finally out of detention, Katsuki, the first follower said. But weren't you a little harsh on Midoriya? Yeah, you two were like good friends when you were kids, the second follower said, annoying Bakugo even more. It's his own fault for getting in my way, he admitted while kicking a pebble. You shouldn't waste time on the guy, the second follower said, causing Bakugo to remember what Izuku said in class. Someone has to teach that nerd a lesson about the real world. Bakugo growls while crushing his empty soda can before creating an explosion, covering it in singes and dust before tossing it to the side. I hate it when he talks about being a hero. Hey, maybe we should go to the arcade so you can get your mind off of him, the first follower suggested. Fine, Bakugo sighed. You idiots, if we get caught, there's no way that I'll get into UA, Bakugo growled before he sees that his burnt can is on fire. Huh? He got confused as to how his can was set on fire before looking up, only to see his followers running away out of fear. Hey, where the hell are you idiots going? Oh, you better watch your mouth, kid. Bakugo then heard a laugh before turning around to see Roman and his gang as they all have an evil look on their face. Guess we're gonna have to punish you since your parents are not around. With Izuku and Ruby. The two students continue to walk downstairs while they haven't said a single word ever since All Might told Izuku about the risks of being a hero. This was bugging Ruby as she can't stand to see someone looking so down like that. Hey Izuku, Ruby spoke up to see if she can get the depressed boy's attention. You heard what All Might said to me, Ruby, Izuku responded without even looking at him. His eyes then gets watery as he tries to not cry on his open notebook. He said the same exact thing that everyone else told me. I can't be a hero just because I don't have a quirk. That's why my classmates laughed at me. They think that I'm just a weak nerd who couldn't do anything. And now All Might, the symbol of peace, the hero that I've looked up to ever since I was 4 years old, said the exact same thing. He then looks at the silver-eyed girl, who is just staring at him in silence. Ruby, if you got something to say to me, then speak up. Izuku, you're not the only one who gets that kind of treatment, Ruby admitted, confusing the boy. What do you mean? He asked. You have a quirk and All Might said that you got what it takes to be a hero. Yeah, but my classmates don't think so. Yes, I do have a quirk, but I don't have the combat and social skills that Yang has. All that I'm good at is this. She then demonstrates her quirk by running past Izuku at blinding speed and appears behind him like she just teleported. Ruby rose. Quirk, petal burst. As the name implies, she can move at speeds that are nearly too fast for the eye to catch. She can use her speed to dodge attacks, disorient enemies, hastily retreat, and quickly counterattack. It is also capable of providing limited flight capabilities. Izuku looks in awe as he sees a couple of rose petals fall, which came from Ruby's running speed. He then turns around to see the girl to see what else she has to say. I never really interacted with a lot of people, and I don't have that many friends. Whenever my sister leaves me to be with her friends, I'm always left alone with nobody else to talk to. I didn't really have the courage, so that's why my family tries to help me to interact with others a bit more, only to get messy results. Ruby then walks up to Izuku after letting out a sigh. I don't know loneliness like you do. I have my own version. But that doesn't stop us from trying to reach for our goals. I meant what I said about you having the potential of being the hero. You just have to be brave, no matter what. And no matter what people say about us, we will not let those words bring us down. And even if we fall down, we can help each other out. That's what friends do, right? Izuku wipes his eyes to remove the tears and looks at Ruby in complete shock. Not only are those two similar in a way in terms of struggles and interest, but this girl, who he just met today, actually sees him as a friend. Why you think so? Izuku asked as Ruby lightly taps his forehead before making a cute boop sound. Huh? Of course, silly. She laughed a bit before smiling. I think that you're really nice. Thanks, Rub. Boom. The entire city gasped after hearing an explosion, causing the citizens to look over to see smoke rising from the air that is 3 blocks down from Ruby and Izuku's location. Is that smoke? Izuku asked in shock. This isn't good, Ruby said in concern as the two kids runs over to where they saw the explosion. Tetwin's shopping district. The explosion causes a few debris to fall to ground, nearly crushing any shoppers as they run away from the fire. A few pro-heroes has arrived on the scene, the first being Death Arm, who helped out during the giant villain incident this morning, the second being the bird hero Hitchcock Doodle, the third being the baseball hero Slugger, and finally the wizard hero Glinda Goodwitch. The 4 of them seize Roman and his goons, which are holding Bakugo down so he won't make any rash decisions. They got someone. Death Arms pounds his fists together and charges in to try and knock the villains away. Our pro-heroes always jumping in without a plan. Roman chuckles as he took off his glove and touches the pro-hero's arm after dodging his attack. What has society become today? Death Arms froze as Roman uses his quirk to set him on fire before screaming in pain. Roman then uses his cane, which is in his other hand, to yank the pro-hero's leg, causing him to fall. Hey Slugger, wanna see a home run? Batter up. Roman taunted as he set his cane on fire before swinging it against Death Arm's face, sending him flying into the baseball hero. Look out. Death Arm's warning was too late as he crashed into Slugger. Death Arms. Slugger, are you two okay? Hitchcock asked in concern. Heads up. Glinda and Hitchcock jumps backwards to avoid incoming debris and gunfire coming from the villains. The wizard hero took out her crop and waves it in air, causing the debris to be lifted up before returning to where they belong, fixing them. She then stops the bullets and sends them straight into the ground so they won't hit anyone. You clowns better stay back or this kid will become a singed corpse. Roman threatened as he sees Bakugo struggling to break free. You bastards picked the wrong guy to mess with, he shouted. I'm gonna send you flying all the way to hell. Let me go. Bakugo then creates an explosion after slamming his open palm against a goon, sending him flying. Ooh, you got power, kid. I like you already. Roman whistled as he sees how powerful the boy's quirk is. With your quirk by my side, I'll be able to rise up the ranks. Roman then places his gloveless hand on the floor, causing it to light up on fire while creating a dome. Try using your explosions in a heated area. You'll just cause more damage. Whoa, this dude is a legit supervillain. A bystander admitted, but is obviously afraid of them. A few more pro-heroes arrived in the scene and does whatever they can to help out. Empty. Lady was about to charge in, but stops as her path became narrow due to her gigantic size and wants to prevent any collateral damage that she'll cause. Kamui Woods extends his wooden arms to grab a few citizens and students that are trapped within the fire and begins to escort them out. Backdraft starts to put out the fire that are beginning to spread in order to prevent it from reaching to the safe zone. Glinda, can you use your quirk to remove the fire? Death Arms asked as he and Slugger slowly get up with a few scratches on them. What else do you think that I'm doing? But this kid's quirk is causing more flames. Glinda yelled as she continuously using her quirk to remove the fire, but then gets shot in her right shoulder by one of the goons, causing her to drop her crop. Glinda, Slugger rushes over to the wizard hero and helps her up. I'm okay. Glinda grunted while holding her shoulder. We need a medic, Hitchcock demanded. Look out! Death Arms shouted as a burning debris is sent towards them, causing the 4 pro-heroes to jump back to avoid getting hit. It's no good, they're just keeping us away. Glinda, can you use your other arm? Hitchcock asked as Glinda picks her crop back up before getting up. I'll take care of the debris and try to block incoming attacks until more reinforcements arrive. Glinda said as he uses her left arm to move her crop arm, lifting multiple debris while blocking incoming firearms. The pro-heroes continues to try their hardest to stop the villains, rescue Bakugo and any trapped citizens, and putting out the fire, only for the villains to counter back and resetting all of their hard work as Izuku and Ruby arrives at the scene. What's going on? Ruby asked. It's Roman and his crew. A man answered, they're causing a lot of trouble. Both Ruby and Izuku saw the villains and recognized them from earlier as they looked completely shocked. Oh no, they must have escaped when we weren't looking. Ruby whispered to Izuku. This is our fault, Izuku whispered back with a lot of guilt. He then looks at the villains and gasps to see that they're holding a hostage, which it's none other than his childhood friend. Oh no. What? Ruby asked. They got Kaken. Izuku answered before turning to Ruby. I know he picks on me, but Izuku pauses as he's conflicted. He hates Bakugo's negative attitude, but he can't bring himself to fully hate him since he admires his strength and skills. Among the crowd was All Might, who saw the attack and places a hand over his scar while grabbing the pole of a sign, looking down with guilt after he recognized the villains. He heard a couple of citizens pointing out that the villains are the ones that All Might fought earlier and are in disbelief that they can escape before some started asking where he's at. Damn it, how could I let this happen? He cursed to himself while trembling a bit. You say run. Without even thinking, Ruby then uses her quirk to dash right through the crowd and starts going towards the accident. Ruby, Izuku gasped in shock as All Might, the crowd, and the pro-heroes looked surprised to see the girl. Hey, what are you doing? Death Arm asked. Get back here this instant. You're gonna get yourself killed, Glinda demanded, only for the pro-heroes to be ignored. Huh. Bakugo looks to his left and sees Ruby dashing through the flames, which the wind pressure from her speed quirk protected her when the pressure blew the flames away. Oh, not you again. Roman groans before turning to his henchman. Stop her. The goon starts firing at Ruby, who dodges by running in a zigzag form, leaving rose petals on the floor. Leave him alone, Ruby shouts as rushes in and grabs Bakugo. Don't worry, I got you. Let's take care of your stupid quirk. Roman then grabs Ruby's legging with only forefinger, burning it as Ruby lets out a painful cry before changing his target to Bakugo's leg, burning it as well and causing the two to fall on the floor. Ruby, Izuku gasps as the pro hero starts to run in. Get them, Death Arms yelled at the top of his lungs as they're about to go in and save Ruby and Bakugo, only to be stopped after a few bullets nearly hit them. Keep firing, I got these brats. Roman slowly approaches the two kids. You made a big mistake, Little Red. Guess I'm gonna have to take care of you first. Horrified at the possible sight of losing two people he knows, Izuku then pulled a Ruby as he ran through the crowd and starts charging in. Him too. All Might looks even more shocked while the pro heroes gasp and groans in annoyance. Oh my god, not again, Death Arms shouted in annoyance. Stay out of this, kid, Hitchcock demanded. Green beans here too, Roman groans in annoyance as Bakugo and Ruby looks over to see Izuku running towards them. Deku Bakugo was shocked to see a girl that he barely know running in to save him, but seeing the quirkless boy makes him even more shocked and gets annoyed by it. You're gonna regret interfering, kid. The goons starts reloading their guns and points them right at Izuku. What do I do? What would a hero do right now? Izuku thinks about the notes he wrote down in his notebook. Page 25, right. Izuku then took off his backpack and tosses it towards the goon, causing the stuff from his backpack to fly out. What? The goons were about to fire, only for their vision to be blocked by a couple of papers from Izuku's backpack. Roman then gets hit in the head by an All Might lunge, causing him to stumble a bit. Ruby, Kaken, Izuku then rushes over to the two and attempts to pull them by their arms in order to get them away from the villains, only to struggle. What the hell? Why are you here? Bakugo asked in annoyance. I can't stand by and watch you two die, Izuku answered with tears in his eyes, shocking All Might. Hurry, Ruby begged. Get your hands off of me, Bakugo shouted. I have to do something, no matter the cost. All Might grumbles to himself as his entire body starts twitching like he's growing muscles all over himself. You've ruined my hat. Roman growls in anger before putting his hat on. He then jumped towards the three kids and prepared to place his entire hand on Izuku's head, while his henchman turns around prepares to fire their guns. I should have killed you and Little Red earlier. Look out, Ruby screams, causing Izuku to freeze. Save the kids, Death Arms shouted as he, Hitchcock, Slugger, Glinda, Backdraft, and Kamui Woods are about to jump in to try and prevent Roman from killing them. Those villains will kill them. Whoosh, boom, the villain's assault has come to a fail after getting blown back a bit, causing everyone to look shocked as they want to know who interfered this time. I am really pathetic. Izuku, Bakugo, and Ruby opens their eyes to see that their savior was none other than All Might. Ruby stutters in confusion, but is relieved that he came in just in time. I told you the traits that makes a hero, but now I realize that I wasn't living up to my own ideals. All Might told Izuku only as he puts one foot forward and pulling a fist back while blood starts leaking out of his mouth. Pros are always risking their lives. That's the true test of a hero. Damn you, All Might, Roman shouted as he and his henchmen are about to attack the symbol of peace. Detroit smash, All Might punched with so much force that it causes the villains to get sent flying into the wall, and while some collapsed before falling unconscious. All Might's attack also created a small tornado before disappearing as it starts raining. Music ends. The police arrives later on and arrests Roman and his gang before putting them in the back of a truck while the pro heroes salutes them. All Might was soon surrounded by a bunch of fans while the news began to interview him. Meanwhile, Izuku and Ruby gets chewed out by Kamui Woods and Death Arms while Glinda lectures them for their reckless behavior. Bakugo just sat there and gave the two kids a glare, ignoring the praises he's getting from Hitchcock and Slugger. Later, somewhere in the city, Izuku and Ruby are now far away from the scene after they get chewed up by the pros. They continue walking and hoping to apologize to All Might later since he got his hands full with the press. Hey, the two of them heard a familiar voice as they see Bakugo running after them before making a complete stop. He took a few deep breaths before looking at them. Listen, I would never asking weaklings like you two for help. Don't think that you idiots can look down on me. You did nothing. He then turns around and starts storming away. I don't owe you two jack shit. Wow, is he always like this? Ruby asked while she sweat dropped. Yeah, Izuku answered nervously before sighing. But maybe he's right. We didn't do much. What are you talking about? We did our best, so it's better than nothing. Ruby stated, I tried my best to save your friend, but it was you who saved me and him. Thanks for watching, boy bye.